The Arizona Cardinals are a really bad team, just 3-9 at the time of recording, but they do have some fun players, some aging talent, of course, but some unanswered questions, especially at quarterback. Can Kyler Murray be the guy? We've certainly seen flashes over the years, but I don't know. And that's going to be a question we look to answer during this rebuild. Is Jonathan Gannon the guy at head coach? Also, an unanswered questions. I think Cardinals fans may have the answer to that question, but we'll find out what happens here. Head coach Gene Dangus taking over. See if we can turn this Cardinals team into a contender. They play in arguably the toughest division in football, so it's not going to be easy. Let's talk about the team. This video is sponsored by Underdog. It's the absolute best place to play daily fantasy sports. You can use code BENGAL, play 5, get 50. Get a deposit bonus. That's great. There's so many great promos running on Underdog as well. Just got to make a couple of correct predictions. It is not as easy as it sounds, though. You know, they're professionals like me, of course. But you got to play responsibly. Be 18, 19, or 21 plus, depending on the states. I'll put up a map on the screen right now so you can see the eligible states where you were allowed to participate. But it's NFL season. We're approaching the playoffs for a lot of you fantasy playoff guys. This is going to be a super important set of weeks coming up. So make some picks, make some money. Use code BENGAL on Underdog. Let me know down in the comment section below which pick you feel great about for this weekend's games. Could even be for Thursday. I'll probably end up tweeting out my picks, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Link down in the description of that as well. But use code BENGAL on Underdog. Make your great predictions. Set up a couple of entries here on Underdog using code BENGAL. That link is down in the description. And this is that team. Jacoby Brissett is actually the same overall as Kyler Murray. Very different skill sets, but I know that's going to seem crazy because of how we feel about both those guys. Jacoby Brissett is the backup. Kyler Murray is this young upstart, super athletic QB, but he's 28 at this point. So the fact that we really have never seen him quite take a step up beyond some really, really fun plays. I also think the Cardinals haven't done a good enough job surrounding him with talent. I mean, the offensive line has mostly been a disaster his entire time in the league. So I can't really blame him completely, but I think it needs to be said that the results have not been what you'd want them to be. Marvin Harrison Jr. has superstar X Factor. That's crazy. That's crazy at this point. Now, I guess I'd be okay with giving him star, maybe superstar, but he's just not played up to that level. So you got a big question mark in real life with what he ends up being. You've seen some better performances of late. I still think that he can be a quality NFL player. So we'll see what happens with him. But in this rebuild, he should be fantastic. Not looking to get rid of him at all. Trey McBride is a beast. And setting the best team still somehow leaves in Hayden Connor and Kelvin Beachum. I don't know. You know what we should do? Let's go all Texas. Hayden Connor, Christian Jones, hook 'em horns. They're unfortunately not going to make the college football playoff, but their wins are as good as anybody's wins. But you got to not lose to Florida is ultimately what happens there. But still, you know, ride or die, so it is what it is. Walter Nolan, what a stud he's been. Missed a lot of the season, and then as soon as he started to play, he's been incredible. And we knew he was a great athlete. We know his potential is sky high. He hopefully becomes a star for us in this rebuild. But I think the best course of action, Sweat's been incredible too this year. The best course of action is to trade some old players and expiring contracts. That means if we can get anything back for Calais Campbell, which we won't really be able to, he's got to go. And then Budda Baker. Do I really want to be paying him this contract through his 30s? I probably don't. But he's basically a Cardinals franchise legend at this point. So it's tough to trade a player like that emotionally. But you got to see where we are as a team and say, hey, it's not working. A box safety is not helping things. Well, I'd rather have some picks back, probably. I am somewhat excited for some of the young players on this team, though. Not so much Zay Jones, but Michael Wilson could be something. I think Trey Benson could be something. And then I think their corners just don't get enough love because Garrett Williams is really good. Will Johnson could end up being really, really good. And then the potential of Keitrell Clark, Max Melton. Not all these guys will make it on this team, unfortunately. You know, we'll see what Jordan Birch can do. B.J. Ojulari. Baron Browning, I think, could be a beast. We've seen it a little bit before. He's got some potential. 26 years old. Maybe we should have done training camp with him. Just, you can only choose so many players, right? We're going to upgrade Mac Wilson. He eventually will get traded. That's how a lot of these rebuilds go. Like, I don't go super hyper realistic because we see craziness happen in real life all the time. I think when people ask for the really realistic ones, they just want me to be boring. Only sign okay free agents. Don't trade at all in the draft. Don't make trades of any kind, really. It's like, you got to have a little bit of fun. We're playing Madden at the end of the day, right? Got to do what it takes to be good in the game. So we're changing the team around a little bit. Zaven Collins is an edge rusher now. I'm moving him back to inside linebacker a little bit, and I know, hey, that didn't really work all that well. But maybe this time it'll be different. Yeah, it didn't work for everybody else, but this could be the time that it works. But this will be the team. Trey Benson will start. I'm going to end up trading James Conner. I'm going to end up trading some of these players. Training camp is always really nice for the inflection, for the boost. Jordan Birch, I might consider moving to defensive tackle. He's 280. I think he can hang there. Like, the strength is not amazing, but he doesn't need to be a nose tackle. He just needs to get to the quarterback. I can move Dalvin Tomlinson to the nose. Calais Campbell's getting traded, and then we have Nolan and Birch, and then Ojulari could rush off the edge. Like, there are options here, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like if we're going to get our best players on the field, I want our best young players to be on the field as well, to develop as much as possible. I didn't get a chance to talk about Dadrian Taylor Demerson either, but I actually think he could end up being a quality starter. Going back to Texas Tech, his range was so good, and that plays. Like, yeah, you do see less single high in the NFL nowadays, but when you do have a guy that can do that, I think it, allows you to be a little bit more creative with your defense, especially with teams running the ball as frequently as they are now. We could see a guy with his skill set be really, really valuable because they can bring a strong safety into the box and try to take away the run a little bit more, but they need someone with speed over the top and range over the top to play that single high safety role. And Taylor Demerson could be that guy, but I think we're going to be pretty bad here. We're going to set the focus scouts or the regional scouts for week 1-0 for week 3, and then simulate to the midseason mark. We'll handle some trades there at the trade deadline. We'll handle some re-signings, and overall, I'm excited about this team's long-term potential. I think there are a lot of needs, but there are also, a lot of exciting opportunities with this team. And when I say opportunities, I mean opportunities for guys to break out and be real stars, because I don't consider edge a huge position of need for this Cardinals team. But if there's a good enough edge, they could potentially displace a starter. Outside of Josh Sweat, don't really feel too attached to anybody. And Sweat's 28 years old. So how long are we going to have that? Is our Super Bowl window going to be open when Sweat is on this team? These are the questions that I don't have answers to yet, but we're going to figure them out. All right, so the players who are going to be free agents, Jalen Thompson, who I like, but not tied down to, could be a potential trade piece for us here at the deadline. Probably not going to extend him. We got Bam Knight, Zonovan Knight in there. Jonah Williams is kind of bad. I don't really love anybody that's in here. Former Giant legend Will Hernandez. Calais Campbell. When I say we're going to be able to get nothing back for him, we might have to give somebody something to take him off our hands. He's 39 years old. Credit to Calais Campbell. I think he should be a Hall of Famer. Tremendous player. I don't know what the numbers say, but in my head, he's a Hall of Famer. Whether or not he will be remains to be seen, because he's never been in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation to my memory. He might have had a really good season when he first got to Jacksonville, but he's just been such a solid, reliable player forever. I'm sure he's got at least one All-Pro first team, maybe an All-Pro second team or two. Definitely, I would say, multiple-time Pro Bowler. Is he a Hall of Famer? Let me know down in the comment section below. Let me see if he's actually got a case just from a pure stats perspective here in a moment. Okay, so looking at the numbers, he did have a Defensive Player of the Year second campaign when he first got to Jacksonville in 2017. He was an All-Pro first team that year, his only one. He's made 2 All-Pro second teams, and he is a 6-time Pro Bowler, but he also is on the Hall of Fame All-2010s team, which will help him out quite a bit, I think. And also Walter Payton Man of the Year, which is cool. And I think that honestly should contribute to a Hall of Fame campaign. He's got 116 career sacks as like an inside-outside interior defensive lineman. I'd put him in there. I'm a big Calais Campbell guy, but that being said, he's 40 years old. Nobody wants him, but maybe we can throw him in as a package deal somewhere. Does he raise it up even a little bit? Maybe. I don't know. We're going to make this trade, Calais Campbell and Jalen Thompson for Quay Walker. I think this is a good trade for the Packers trying to win now. Obviously, they have Xavier McKinney, but Thompson can play all over. So can McKinney, really. Quay Walker has 5 years left on his deal. So it's quite a good trade for us, as we'll get an actual linebacker over Zaven Collins, who really has not exactly thrived in that role. He's only got 2 years left on his deal. And now Zaven Collins becomes a little bit more expendable, and we could look to see what else we can get. The veteran Cam Jordan, really looking to add younger players. This is where we might want to trade James Conner. He's been a great player for the Cardinals, but he's 30 years old, obviously dealing with some injuries in real life, or I think he tore his ACL. I love Zion McCollum, but I don't know if that's the move. Johnny Newton's interesting here. I may be looking for picks right now. You can see that Evan Williams is now expendable, as they've upgraded with that last trade, but not going to do anything else with the Packers right now. I'm thinking Zaven Collins and James Conner can get me a pick from somewhere. Maybe Cincinnati is not the worst spot. Okay, this trade is accepted. Zaven Collins, James Conner, and Zay Jones. A lot of Z names on the move here. Getting 2 second-round picks back from Cincinnati, one this year, one next year. And this way, we can get Greg Dortch involved. I don't know if he's going to be signing an extension here for me, but we're going to get Greg Dortch very involved. Jonah Williams may have some slight trade value. Neither of the specialists really will. But, I mean, we're trading a lot of players who have some value. A lot of players here, 2 years or more left on their current contracts. I think Sean Murphy-Bunting needs to go. He's 28 years old. He's likely to regress. I don't hate the corners behind him. Keitrell Clark is gone. Did he just auto go to the practice squad? Okay, well, I don't know where he is. That we'd have Denzel Burke and Elijah Jones here. Although, these are interesting young corners too, especially Elijah Jones. But yeah, SMB might want to SM. Nah, he's going to get traded though. We are trading Jonah Williams and Sean Murphy-Bunting for a second-round pick next year from Miami. I think that's about the best we could have possibly got back there. And we have traded a lot already. The one thing we really haven't talked about a lot is the elephant in the room. Or should I say, like, the field mouse in the room, but that contract's gigantic. Kyler Murray is getting paid so much money. It actually doesn't look as bad as I thought it would, based on when he signed this contract. It's not really too bad. Like, nowadays, you'd be looking at, I mean, I guess at least what Trevor Lawrence got, which is getting to be pretty expensive here in 2028 and 2029, or, you know, some of the more recent big-time contracts. Even look at Sam Darnold. It's a 3-year deal, but that's $41.9 million in 2027. Kyler's getting a comparable figure. Obviously, it spikes a bit in 2026. It's still a big contract. It's guaranteed money, and I'm not even sure he's the franchise quarterback here. But at what time would it be appropriate to trade Kyler Murray? I'm sure I could get decent value back for him. I absolutely can. A lot of quarterback-needy teams out there. But I think I can get more than this. And this would be a great option. But the time is not yet right. These quarterbacks have a ton of value on the open market. Jacoby Brissett could even net me back a pretty decent return, I'm sure. But we have no hurry to trade these guys. Maybe Brissett regresses a little bit, so it would be a good time to move on from him. But Just don't think it's going to happen. So this was clearly not a playoff team, as the Ravens beat the Cowboys. Nnamdi Madubuike wins Super Bowl MVP. Joe Burrow League MVP. Puka Nacua Offensive Player of the Year. See Micah Parsons, Quinshon Judkins, and Jalen Walker taking home some other big-time awards as well. But check out these stats and awards for your 30th ranked offense. Kyler actually didn't have awful numbers, but it's not really that great of a season overall. 3,400 yards, 28 touchdowns, 13 picks. Trey Benson, I think, was okay. Hopefully he continues to get better at 8 touchdowns, over 800 yards rushing. Michael Wilson led the way in terms of catches, yards, and overwhelmingly touchdowns. Trey McBride really not doing a whole lot. Cardinals playbook may be a little bit weird. Defensively, Mac Wilson with a ton of tackles. Really everybody with a ton of tackles because the defense was on the field a lot. 8 TFLs for Baron Browning and Josh Sweat, who led the team in sacks with 10.5. 8 for Baron Browning is not too bad. See what that does for him. And then we really did not do a great job of forcing turnovers. But we need to understand that this was a transitional year. And I got fired with Jonathan Gannon because we won 3 games, and I forgot to turn coach firing off. And I'm back as Gene Dangus officially. So this is going to be a pretty good pick for us. There is that. This will definitely be a good pick. And we will head to free agency. Not really going to be re-signing any of the players that were, going to be free agents. I think we already kind of took care of that. But in terms of the available free agents, Jaquan Brisker would make sense, but he's already 27. And in Madden, that's just a tough age to develop. I'd probably prefer Dax Hill for that reason. 26 really isn't too bad. Nakobe Dean's not an awful option. See what our updated dev traits look like. So, Trey McBride is an X factor. The O-line is just not great, but the morale is so bad. Michael Wilson is in a pretty good spot. He had a great season. He knows it. We need more at receiver, though. And then defensively, we're looking at a 4-3 now. Buda Baker's down from X Factor to Superstar. That will hurt his trade value. Cody Simon is a player, but we got a lot of changes to make. I know that. A lot of changes. I also didn't talk about Darius Robinson. Another inside-outside. Like, could this guy play defensive tackle? Kind of in the same way that we moved Jordan Birch down. And he's listed at defensive tackle, but he's certainly not a nose at all. The Cardinals' front 7 is weird. There looks to be a lot of young talent, but even Dante Stills. Or is this Darius? No, this is Dante. Okay, he did have a twin brother. Or maybe they weren't twins. Maybe it was like a year apart. He had a brother that played with him out of West Virginia. Another brother here is PJ Mustafer. His brother is Sam. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a start, but we got a lot of work to do. I love when you get these stories, though. Combine report, fastest 40 for Eric Redmond. And then you're like, all right, let's check out Eric Redmond. And it's like he didn't come close to running the fastest 40. A 4.4 flat is very nice. That's a really good time. It's not the fastest 40, and it isn't even that close to it. Well, I guess it is actually kind of that close to it. Chauncey Bibbs ran a 4.39. Also looks amazing, by the way. But, yeah, I don't know why it would say that when it's just not true. We had Logan Kelly running a 4.24. We had Mike Judge running a 4.37 with great throw power. Virginia Tech. We've got another Michael Vick archetype. Not Mike Vick, but Mike Judge. And he was in front of a judge when he faced a jury of his peers for his crimes, and he served time. But Mike Judge is going to be way different. Surely this will be way different when we draft Mike out of Virginia Tech to a Red Bird team. Surely nothing bad can happen with any dogs in the area. So we're going after Zach Ertz as well as Taylor Moton, Kenneth Gainwell, Tyquan Thornton, and Jermaine Illuminor. I know a really exciting crop of free agents, but we do need some depth here. And we'll see who ends up taking their talents to Glendale. And it is Moton, Gainwell, and Ertz. Taylor Moton will start right away at right tackle. And I'm thinking Tyquan Thornton and Jermaine Illuminor will join him in Arizona. We like to see that. I'm probably going to end up drafting a kicker. There's one that I think is pretty good. And then it's all about, do we want to sign a punter? I'll probably just wait on that. But that's good depth to add for sure. As Tyler Algier changes NFC South teams, he's headed to the Saints. That's interesting. Moton's a big upgrade. Illuminor, as he has before, can play right guard. I think he's a better tackle, though, in real life than a guard. But Jermaine Illuminor currently to right guard. I'd like to draft offensive line, but this Cardinals team, organization maybe I should say, is no stranger to having a top quarterback and then finding the #1 overall pick and drafting one at #1. Josh Rosen, and it is Josh Rosen, they were totally right, but was a top 10 pick, right? Maybe top 13 at worst, but I think top 10. And they drafted Kyler Murray the next year at #1. Well, Jacoby Brissett regressed a lot. Kyler Murray could be on the trade block, and we might be drafting a quarterback really high. That's a big possibility. We have a fullback with rising stock, Thad McKillop. How do I get Thad on the team? That absolutely needs to happen. We have Jacob Pollard skipping the combine. Damian Hale's been a good corner. Aaron Pearson sucks. Ezekiel Bentley sucks. We're not going to feed Zeke. Harvard running back. They've really produced a ton. They actually have produced technically a Harvard running back. Kyle Juszczyk, fullback at a Harvard. But we're going to be ready for the draft here. We've got a really, really high pick. Obviously, the season didn't go well, but it has resulted in maybe finding our franchise QB. And that's pretty good. I just did a video where we found the next Michael Vick for my Falcons rebuild, and we might have found one again. It, I think, is really stupid they have tied archetypes to schools. Virginia Tech quarterback with elite speed is Michael Vick. USC strong safety, run support, generational. That's like the Troy Polamalu build. Any Iowa tight end. Auburn running back. It's like, please, can you be slightly creative? They could be like in the mold of Lawrence Taylor or whoever you want. They don't need to go to UNC, right? It's stupid. Every time I see a specific position in school combo, I'm like, oh, great. Now I know to draft this guy. He's going to be amazing. It doesn't, like, there are schools that produce certain positions well, but to have the same archetype tied to the same school every time is super lame. That being said, I'm going to draft Mike Judge anyway. I'm going to have to. And I've only seen this archetype a couple of times. USC strong safety I've seen an unbelievable amount of times, but not so much lately. Maybe they've toned it down a bit. That being said, probably will be one in the next class. That's just how that seems to go. NFL draft time. We indeed are at #1 overall, and there's really only one decision we can make here. Like, man, would the Vikings take a quarterback? I can't pass on this guy. We're just going to draft him at #1. I think that's the right call. Kyler Murray going to get traded. Unfortunately, there are no top 5 talents that I'm aware of, but, I mean, there are a couple of really good players that I think could help us. Is it worth it to trade up for them, though? That remains to be seen. Mike Judge, the Kyler Murray era is officially over. Elite speed and acceleration. Great throw power. Great agility, change of direction, jumping, fantastic. Accuracy, more than good enough. There is another interesting quarterback down the board, slightly. Darius Payton's a year older. Accuracy's kind of a bit all over the place, but elite change of direction, jumping, speed, strength. It's interesting. Ran in the 4.4s. It's a fun prospect, but he's not as good as Mike Judge out of Virginia Tech. Welcome to the Arizona Cardinals, our quarterback of the future. He's the number 17 ranked player in the draft. We took him at #1. No regrets. Shows great touch on intermediate throws. Progresses well through reads. Excellent deep accuracy. Hidden dev. 93 throw power. 92 speed. 90 acceleration. This is the guy. And I know what you're thinking. Did you not just draft slightly taller Kyler Murray? No, this one's going to be different. Mike Judge will be our quarterback of the future, and we'll see what happens. There's Kalen Geddes off the board. Kyler Murray is now expendable. Maybe we should have tried to give him to Minnesota. But I don't know. We're going to review the rest of the board and potentially consider a trade up, of course. I'm looking for elite athletes with elite ability, and we'll see if we can find any of those type of players here in the top 5 or 10 and think about trading up. It's not a given, but we're trying to add elite players. Who can help us the most? We're going to find out. This guy's a bust. Adrian Guerrero, do not take him in the top 5, please. Do not. I would love to model the Kyler Murray trade after the Russell Wilson trade. I think there are a lot of parallels there. Multiple first-round picks and players back. The Raiders are not as thrilled with that idea. You'll see what this looks like, and it's not even remotely close. So I don't know that we're going to be getting number 5 overall. There is a corner I like quite a bit that we talked about briefly. Corner is not exactly the biggest need on this team, but we could potentially upgrade over Taylor Demerson, and we could potentially trade Budda Baker. So upgrading the secondary is not the worst idea. It's like, which of these teams would trade for Kyler Murray? The Raiders were an option. I think the Panthers probably not. It's Bryce Young. I think the Saints would be an option. Steelers, absolutely. And the corner's still on the board. Chauncey Bibbs at a Clemson. He is 23, so it's just the room to actually develop him, not a ton. I still think I would take him in the top 10. Our other options are an offensive lineman down the board, Dakota Green, Jermaine Green, one of the Green brothers here, but doesn't necessarily have to happen he's fast, doesn't necessarily have to happen inside the top 10. So many defensive tackles going off the board. There's Adrian Guerrero. The Titans are trying to protect Cam Ward. I feel like that is going to go down as an all-time bad draft pick. We know Kenny Pickett's back. We know the Steelers want quarterback. Will they give me 10 straight up? I don't want just the number 10 overall pick, and they can't even afford Kyler Murray. So this is not an option. There are only so many teams where it actually makes sense, and the Steelers do go with Chauncey Bibbs. The Browns are another team that I think definitely makes sense. They're trying to compete. They've got an all-time great defense, and I don't think they'd be tied down to Shedeur Sanders. But would they want Kyler Murray here? Not for 11 and 13, but maybe for 11 and a 1 next year if I were to give 39 and maybe a player. It's not close enough. And this is the trade that's going to be accepted. Kyler Murray, Baron Browning, who's 27 on the final year of his deal. A future 3rd and a 7th this year gets us a 1st from Cleveland. Not number 11, but number 13. Chauncey Bibbs is off the board. I think we'll be able to get one of those offensive linemen that I liked. So I feel good about it. Tom Herbert also looked pretty good at tight end. But we're going to take a tackle here at 13. Round 1 talent. Seems like kind of a no-brainer. Owen Perkins is an interesting player, by the way. A, catching traffic. B, catching. B, deep route running. Overall, solid player. A, spectacular catch with the playmaker archetype. But we're going to try and invest in our future, and that's protecting our young quarterback with the mountain. Out in the mountains, Washington State. Although I think that's on the eastern part of the state, kind of away from a lot of the big mountains. But don't worry about that. 21 years old as well. 6'8", 337, only 21 years old. Can run block, can pass block, is incredibly strong. Movement ability seems good enough. Jermaine Green, you're going to be wearing red. Number 11 player in the draft. We got him at 13. Played college basketball for 2 years. Really interesting. At 6'8", close to 340. Does have hidden dev. 92 strength. Quite nice. So here's my current predicament. We pick at 33 and 39. Brett Goodwell is on the board. Ohio State edge rusher. Looks pretty good. C block shed, A finesse move, C power move, C tackle, only 21 years old. Well-rounded. Be a nice Baron Browning replacement. Physically, he's got elite acceleration, elite jumping, which in real life is kind of a measure of explosiveness, which is important for an edge rusher. Not sure how impactful that's going to be in the game. And solid speed, which is not outstanding, but is good. Is he worth the 33rd overall pick, or would I rather potentially trade down and get a first-round pick next year? That's a definite option. We just traded Baron Browning. B.J. Ojulari's also in the final year of his deal, but he's only 24. So that's definitely someone we could extend. He's still on the board, which makes it a little bit scary for me. But I think Brett Goodwell looks pretty good. So with elite acceleration and A finesse moves, we're going to welcome Brett Goodwell to the Cardinals. He feels like he's got normal dev written all over him, but this is the pick. Ranked number 24. He got him at 33. He does have hidden dev. Speed's not great at a 79, but the acceleration very much is at an 89. I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty happy with this selection. Brett Goodwell. Decent value there at 33, and we'll simulate to 39. Still could consider trading this down. Karsten Preston's off the board, who's a linebacker I liked. But I also like some other linebackers. Tevin Vincent is one. And especially Jake Hudson. A pursuit, B tackle, A zone coverage. Block shedding's bad, but he ran 4.41 at his pro day. Elite agility, elite change of direction. Maybe wouldn't be the best against the run. Also only 21 years old. A lot of room to develop those guys. Would I rather have a first round pick or a freak athlete linebacker that we can develop? I'm going to draft Jake Hudson. Welcome to the Cardinals. Oh, Roger Goodell back out there to the podium for it. He's ranked number 49. We drafted him at 39. He does have hidden dev. 89 speed, 88 acceleration, 91 agility. Feels like not bad. We've just had, a lot of high picks in this draft, but I think we've done really well with them. And hopefully, as we move into day 3, that will continue. Although we have another pick in round 3 before we get to day 3 here on day 2. It's a word salad there. It's a lot going on. Logan Kelly's interesting. Had him marked. He has 4.24 speed. Doesn't really do any receiver thing well, though, and that may be an issue. So the Vikings will give us a second-round pick next year, as well as a 7th this year for our 3rd. I'm happy to make that happen. Hope the Vikings end up being really, really bad. There was just nobody with this particular pick that I thought was, more valuable than a pick at the top of the second round, potentially next year. I still think there's value down the board. I mean, Logan Kelly's still here, but I would just be drafting him for a 40 time, which doesn't feel all that smart. There are a couple defensive tackles I like, and one of them just got drafted. Why? It was so early. No way, man. All right, well, the next guy up that I think is pretty good could be Trevor McGowan out of Tennessee, but I don't know. The speed rusher archetype at D tackle is typically not that good. There's a nose tackle down the board that I thought looked pretty good. Was it Jonathan Burris? It was. So Jonathan Burris looks like a really, really solid player down the board. Don't necessarily need to draft 2 defensive tackles in this class, but oftentimes they just appear to be the best guys available. Ryan Copeland can pass block, but that's it. But there's a value to that. An elite pass blocker, I think, is absolutely worth considering. The guy's name was Tom Thompson. We'll see what happens. You know what? Maybe I take McGowan here just because I think he's good, and we'll see what he actually looks like. Top 80 player. Got him at 97. Does have hidden dev. Strength isn't so bad. Acceleration's pretty good. I don't know what we're going to do with Trevor McGowan just yet, but it's definitely a good young player to add to our defensive line rotation. I thought we were already pretty good there, so it's not necessarily the biggest need ever. And I'm going to take the other defensive tackle too because I think he's pretty good, and we want to add good players. Jonathan Burris is 6'2", 360, elite strength, A tackle, a play rec. Very different type of defensive tackle, but still a valuable one, I think, and probably a steal. He's ranked number 23. We got him at 129. Hidden dev, 69 speed, nice, 95 strength. We have a lot of flexibility on our defensive line. Well, maybe not so much with Burrs. He is 360, but where he lacks in flexibility, he can make up with pure power. And now I probably will draft a kicker. I mean, I had Logan Kelly watched. At this point, do you just add 4.24 speed? I'm going to do it. Whatever. Logan Kelly, ranked at 145. We got him at 161. He definitely sucks. He's got hidden dev, and he's got 99 speed, 95 acceleration. He's a developmental player, but you can't teach that type of speed. 99 speed is pretty good. You know, at some point, we just had to pull the trigger, and I think at the top of the 6th round, that's probably the time to do that. And this is our final pick of the draft here. Round 7. We have a tight end available with A catching. He's 273 pounds and ran in the 4.5s. We're going to draft him. That's good depth behind Trey McBride, especially someone at that size. He's ranked at 168, former college basketball player. Normal dev, finally it happened. But honestly looks pretty good, and I want to make a trade with the Bears here. I want this pick. 195, it probably doesn't take anything to acquire it. Don't really want to trade anything in here. I mean, Elijah Higgins is actually kind of interesting in real life, but it's not going to happen. I think a D tackle is definitely expendable. Dante Stills is going to be the one. So we get a 7th round pick back for Dante Stills. He just was not going to end up playing anymore. And we'll go with Ben Trevino. A kick accuracy, good kick power, elite speed, elite agility for a kicker. He's our new starting kicker. Got him at 195. He's ranked number 117. Made 97.8% of kicks in college, but apparently power is a question mark. He's got hidden dev and 92 kick power. We're going to be okay. What a draft class for us. We got great players, I think, in every round. I don't know that we found any one true generational player in terms of overall, but the quarterback's going to be incredible. 76 overall for Mike Judge. Obviously, we know hidden development. He's going to be great. The accuracy definitely has a little bit of a ways to go. He is 21 years old. We don't need him to be pinpoint precision passer at 21 years old. The athleticism's crazy. Give him a year to develop. He's going to be better than Kyler Murray. He is -2 overall to Kyler Murray right now. Jermaine Green's a 76. Goodwell is a 75. I'll take that draft pick all day. 85 finesse moves, 89 acceleration. That's a good player. That's a future starter. Hudson is a 73. I think that'll play. Jonathan Burris is a 75. I think we have good developmental pieces down the board here, even though they don't look especially amazing. And then the top player in the class was a 78 overall. So we did as well as we could have. There's the fullback. There's Thad. I kind of forgot about him. But really not that good of a draft class in terms of overall. But I think we cleaned up. I think we did really, really well here in terms of what was actually available to us. Like -2 overall to the top players in the class at 78. That's pretty good. Chauncey Bibbs was a 76. Normal dev, so maybe he was for the best. We couldn't end up drafting him. And of course, Adrian Guerrero is an all-time awful pick. It honestly might not even be the worst first-round pick the Titans have made on the offensive line in the past decade. Although this one was taken much higher than Isaiah Wilson. What a draft pick. We'll get to year 2. I'm feeling pretty confident. Struggling a little bit with Mike Judge. He is throwing lasers, though. So there is that. Maybe we just lock in here and completely annihilate this drill. Seems unlikely, though. I'm so bad at it. And I feel like it's just not intuitive with the timing. Or I maybe just can't handle it. This is going to end up being fairly close to gold. It doesn't seem like it right now. But it will be. But just dominating this drill can do so much for a quarterback's development. And that is gold. Dev trait upgraded for Green, our first round pick on the offensive line. Haven't exactly figured out what position he's going to play yet, but it will be one of them. I know that much. So training camp went well. Mike Judge is revealed to have star development, unfortunately, but is already getting to be quite accurate. He's an 85 overall. And we've got superstar dev for Logan Kelly. We know he's insanely fast, and his deep route running and spectacular catch were not awful. Catch and traffic is up quite a bit. He's going to end up being a really, really nice pickup. We're building that Ohio State connection with Marvin Harrison Jr. Typically not that bad of a place to go if you're looking for a receiver. Trevino also has star or better development. Green with superstar dev. Where is Jermaine Green going to play? Kind of big for a guard at 6'8", but the Cardinals have had a 6'8" guard before. Alex Boone. It's my special interest. Don't make fun of me for knowing that. Where does he play? I'm thinking right tackle, and Taylor Moton moves inside. Yeah, it seems to be what's going to happen. We don't know the depth traits of Burris or McGowan yet, but we do know that this was a heck of a draft pick. Brett Goodwell has superstar X Factor. He lasted until the second round. He's up to 89 block shed, by the way. Superstar X Factor. Not bad. Okay, I mean, obviously now we know this was absolutely worth the pick, but we didn't know at the time. His block shed is insanely high. That's a run stuffing stat, if you guys didn't know. It has nothing to do with pass rushing in Madden, but Hudson is star dev. He's up to an 80 now. Yeah, training camp's really good this year. If you're not utilizing training camp, you are making mistakes. Yeah, I feel like this team's going to be much improved. Much improved. Still not perfect, but I'm excited to see what these guys can do. Rookie quarterback. I think it's an upgrade over Kyler Murray, but we're going to go ahead and sign scouts here. But I feel like this team, it's already in decent position. D-tackle, wide receiver, quarterback. Not really a ton of positions I'm looking for there, unfortunately. We started off the season pretty well, but now we have slipped to 5-2 after back-to-back losses. That's okay. We're not really performing great in any one area. We're just winning games. And that's kind of what the name of the game is. Go out and win games. Bo Nix knows that better than anybody, as we lost to him just moments ago. I like the way the team is progressing here at the midway point. I don't think we can really, read into anything too much and say, okay, we need to go out, we need to buy, we need to sell, we need to do whatever. I'd like to keep Michael Wilson. Mac Wilson gets tough. B.J. Ojulari is now incredibly expendable. Garrett Williams needs to be back. Hjalta Froholt, I think, also probably needs to be back. Doesn't really want to be, though. It's kind of the tough part about that. Let's just secure Garrett Williams first and foremost. We've done a pretty good job upgrading him. He's going to be expensive. Can you take off a little bit? Yes. Garrett Williams is back. Michael Wilson's at a tough age. I know Mac Wilson doesn't get better than this, but do I want to go out and trade Mac Wilson? Not really. I really don't. But I think it probably needs to happen. It's just that final year of his deal. I mean, I want Hudson to play. I want Quay Walker to play. We probably just move Quay Walker to Mike or Jake Hudson to Mike, but probably Quay Walker. And Mac Wilson maybe nets us back something. Maybe Michael Wilson on a short-term deal. I don't think he's going to want that. Can we just go out and get a big upgrade at guard maybe? And then Ojulari, I said, is expendable as well. We do need depth. Maybe we keep B.J. Ojulari. He might be cheap enough. We might need an upgrade over Dadrian Taylor Demerson. What can Mac Wilson get me back? Oh, boy, it's awful. It's awful. What about getting Kevin Winston Jr.? He's 22 years old. He's got star dev. I'd like to... I mean, obviously, we're not going to get this first-round pick. I just want to see how close we are. I would say that, I wouldn't mind trading Tyquan Thornton because we just drafted somebody better at doing the same things in Logan Kelly. Mac Wilson, and we have 4 second-round picks. So let's just make one happen in 2028. and call this a deal? Not quite. Do they have a linebacker we could replace Mac Wilson with? Just for depth, really? Kind of forgot about Jonas Griffith. Cedric Gray would be good. Jimmy Elias seems like he would be good. I like the idea of adding Cedric Gray. I'll take the second-round pick out. If we can get Cedric Gray, Mac Wilson, Tyquan Thornton, and I'll give you a 2028 third. And that trade is accepted. So Cedric Gray is good depth, and he will play. Kevin Winston's going to be a starter over Dadrian Taylor Demerson. And right now, we're in a 4-3. So Quay Walker absolutely needs to move to Mike. Really good athlete. Like to see his coverage improve, but really good athlete. I think he's going to be fine there. And maybe we move Cedric Gray to Sam. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but it's not going to matter all that much. But I'm loving the way the team looks. Just need a couple improvements here and there. That's it. Michael Wilson, I'm thinking a 3-year deal is probably fine for what ultimately will end up being my third receiver. It's a little bit much right now, but I'm okay with that. Michael Wilson's back for a few years. I like Michael Wilson as a player, so wanted to keep him around. BJ Ojulari is probably not worth $10 million a year to me, but I'd love him as depth. It's a lot to pay a depth rotational player, but if we can get him at this deal, it's a 4-year deal. I don't know. I just don't know that I see a way we get BJ Ojulari long-term. Hjalta Froholt, 4-year extension. We keep him our center. I think he should like the security of this deal, but he doesn't want to accept that, even though that's better than what he's going to get paid on the open market. Ojulari, I would still probably just like to keep. We're so good on money with the rookie quarterback, even though he was the first overall pick, so he's not free, but pretty insanely cheap for a quarterback. This is when your window is open. Go out and try to win a Super Bowl. We have so many players with 3 or 4 years remaining left on their deal. I will say Baker, Harrison Jr., Trey Benson, and Paris Johnson Jr. being expiring contracts next year is not great, but we're in such a good position right now that I'm not really too worried about that. I think our window is open right now. We could be a Super Bowl team as early as 2026 here, which would be incredible. We're really just doing so much losing right now. We were 5-2, but we were 5-0. And since then, we are now 6-5. The season's falling apart. The playbooks likely are not good enough. Tell me this is Jason Avant Jr. You know, I don't really even know what I'd be looking for in the draft. I feel like safety is probably near the top of the list. If there's an unbelievable receiver, maybe, but I feel okay there. It's really just something in the secondary, probably. And I feel like it's kind of tough to find really, really good safeties unless they went to USC. Maybe one of the corners who's good in his own coverage just slides back. It's probably what we're looking at. Well, I'll tell you this. The playbooks need to be changed. We're an 89 overall, and that happened to be our record. 8-9. At least it's better than 6-7. Oh, man. I mean, I brought shame to my family, but it's okay. Mike Judge, pretty good rookie year. Not outstanding, but pretty good. He's playing up to a 90. Deep accuracy is not. Very bad deep accuracy. Trey Benson was all about the ones. 1,111 yards and 11 touchdowns. Something's up. But he looks good. Juke move and spin move are crazy high. He's developed really, really well. And he's trending towards being one of the league's best runners. So I'm excited about that. Michael Wilson continues to play well. Marvin Harrison Jr. with a really nice season. Nobody over 1,000 yards, so we didn't really throw enough. But the ball was pretty well distributed, I would say. Jake Hudson led the team in tackles, had 4 for loss. Walter Nolan led the way with 9 TFLs, 8 for Brett Goodwell, who had double-digit sacks, falling second to Walter Nolan on the team, though, with 11. 9.5 for Josh Sweat. Pretty good numbers here. Pretty excited about that. Our defense, I thought, did a pretty good job turning the ball over. We just didn't do a good enough job of stopping teams from scoring, and that's typically how you lose games. We averaged 22.5 points per game, and we allowed 21.5 points per game. That's leaving too little room to win games, right? So we're going to focus on scoring more points next season, and get this part, you're not even ready for this. Scoring more points and stopping the other team from scoring more points. Making them score less, I think, would be ideal. We'll get to the offseason. Ready for season 3. We didn't do as well as I thought we would do in year 2, but a lot of it is playbook dependent. They said it was not going to be as much this year. Hey, it's as much as ever. If you didn't realize, it's as much as ever. Ravens-Giants Super Bowl rematch, same result. Joe Burrow wins league MVP. Joe Burrow, Offensive Player of the Year as well. Josh Hines-Allen, Defensive Player of the Year. And you can see Owen Perkins and Matthew Bonds are your Rookies of the Year. What team am I doing? The Cardinals. So we did not get any Offensive Rookie of the Year, even after a pretty good season at quarterback. Maybe we have a Defensive Rookie of the Year somewhere, but I doubt it. I don't know who would have won it. So we'll advance to the next week. I'd like to bring back B.J. Ojulari. We'll pick up the 5th year on Big Marv. Ojulari does not want to be here. He just doesn't. 25 now. I'd give you a 2-year deal. We have a ton of money, so I'm not really too upset about this. He doesn't want to sign. Franchise tagging B.J. Ojulari is actually an insane decision, so I can't do that. But Froholt, I mean, we got to bring you back. I will overpay you. Not interested in signing. I'm not interested in caring. You're getting tagged. $18 million for this season. Darius Robinson, I'm not going to pick up the 5th year option. And Illuminor and Brissett can hit free agency as well. John Gaines, really agile, really quick for his size. But unfortunately, never really got a chance to develop for us. It's just not going to happen. Also, Trevino has Superstar Dev. That's nice. Burris has Superstar Dev. McGowan has Superstar Dev. We're moving to a 3-4. I'm intrigued by these developments, but I'm not likely going to play McGowan over Jordan Birch, at least not right now. Good rotational player. He probably ends up losing Superstar Dev for me. It's just one of those things. Jordan Birch is better and real, and we can develop him. He looks good. He's got to kind of upgrade his ability to get after the quarterback a little bit. That would be nice. And what do we need this offseason? I mean, best receiver available, maybe. O-line looks pretty good. And then defensively, I've talked about it. Safety. But I like Kevin Winston. Corner, maybe. Team's in a good spot. A lot of it at this point is going to be about development. I just saw or noticed that Sweat is down from Superstar Dev to Star. A little bit annoying. It's going to be tough to keep him at that overall. We'll see what's available in free agency. Like always, not a whole lot of anything interesting. And I don't know if we're really going to even sign anybody. There's not really a reason to. Maybe a guard. We did get Elton Jenkins, who, of course, is new to the center position. He's been a guard a lot of his career. He also has played some tackle. But Elton Jenkins is a player I often go after because he's really good. He's been a rock-solid offensive lineman wherever the Packers have needed him for a decade, pretty much. And he's a good pickup for us, often hitting free agency. He can be a starter at left guard for us. And now we're cooking. Now we got a stew cooking. I don't like the background at all right now, but the offense looks great. The O-line looks great. I mean, it really looks fantastic. And then just defensively, what we talked about, if we can just continue to develop a lot of these guys, what a defense this is going to be. I'm excited to see what they do in 2026. I'm going with Buffalo spread offense and Tampa disguised 3-4 defense. They led the league in this particular season. We're going to see if it can be effective for us going into 2027. I am not going to move up in the draft here for anything. Caleb Kinney is a top 5 talent, but doesn't really look amazing. It looks like a completely fine player. Totally good. I'm not really trying to get good. Get good, kid. I'm trying to get a superstar in the mix, and there are a lot of round 1 talents we know about. I think I would currently lean towards Mateo Sanchez because we do need a center. Mateo Sanchez could be a starter. Obviously, I've talked a lot about adding a corner or safety. It's probably what's going to end up happening at some point. But we're going to jump in at number 16 here. I mean, I don't think there's any chance we take an edge rusher. Although Terrence Sutton looks pretty good. We're going to rock out with a Sweat until he really starts to decline. And then there are some decent safeties, but I don't really feel like taking a decent safety when we have Kevin Winston. We're going to go Mateo Sanchez at number 16. He is aware. He's another Ohio State guy. Can pass block, can run block decently well. Is a really good athlete. Just the clear and obvious pick for me here. I don't know that he's going to be a top 10 or 15 player, but he's going to be somebody that can start for us soon. Ranked number 17, we got him at 16. He's got hidden dev, 87 strength, speed and acceleration, I think are fairly good. Change of direction was just okay. But that's a decent pickup. We have like a billion second round picks. I'm not trading back into the first round, even if it probably made some sense to do so. We'll see what's available here. The safeties available are not good. All of the round one talents are gone, which makes me think we should just trade out of this pick and maybe acquire a really, really good player. We may be able to do that. I don't see why not. Alani Elliott's decent looking, to be fair, but yeah, let's make a move. And that trade is accepted. Hjalte Froholt, 4 second-round picks for Derek Stingley. They need a left guard. Hjalte Froholt can play left guard here. He's going to be the 3rd highest rated left guard in the league. It did take a lot of picks in order to make it happen. 39, 40, and 44, as well as a future too. We do keep 48, though. Don't know what we're going to do with that just yet. But Derek Stingley Jr. is a monster upgrade at corner. A monster upgrade. I think the return for the Texans was pretty good, to be honest. But we just drafted a center. Froholt was playing on the franchise tag. Big no-brainer move we just made to get arguably a top 2 or 3 corner in the NFL. Superstar X Factor. Cornerback now looks incredible. I just don't like anybody enough with this pick. We are going to get a second from the Vikings in 2029 and a 3rd round pick next year. It's really not that great of a return considering how long we have to wait for that to happen. But again, there just was nobody that I felt that good about at the pick. So why force it? I feel like on day 3, that's when you can start, taking random chances, random dart throws, see what you can find. And there were a couple of running backs that I thought looked okay that I expected to be available, and they are. Kyle Thomas is going to be the one, probably. Just wanted to check out Terry Livingston. Honestly, doesn't really look that bad. It's just the ball carrier vision is so low. But Kyle Thomas here from FSU looks to be quite good. Can really run, can break tackles. Again, ball carrier vision is bad, but he can catch the football. And that's going to be a nice combination with Trey Benson. Kyle Thomas, to me, is worth the pick here. He's ranked number 45. We got him at 112. Normal dev, unfortunately, but a pretty good athlete. And another Florida State back, actually, just like Trey Benson. But I think that's probably going to do it for the draft. We have a kicker. We can go get a punter very easily if we need to. We got it. I really don't feel like this draft class was that good. Maybe I'll be wrong. Mateo Sanchez is a 75. I think that's good enough to start. Brendan McCutcheon. Pretty good draft pick here by the computer. 76 overall. Hidden development. 22 years old from Oklahoma State. Is the best pick of our draft by overall. There was an 81 overall left guard, C.J. Hackett, of course, from Iowa. Can really run block. Can really, really run block. Incredibly strong. It's a great pickup, especially where they got him in the draft at 23. But mostly, like, not that impressive of a class. Jets did well, though. They needed to. Hey, how about a dev trade increase for our quarterback, Mike Judge? Now will be a superstar heading into year 2. That's a pretty good leg up. I think we just need to focus on Trey Benson here. Having a good backup beyond Kenneth Gainwell would be nice, but Trey Benson being one of the league's best running backs, he's probably just going to get there on his own, though. No, let's do Trey Benson. So this is what the team looks like. Of course, rocking with Mateo Sanchez up to a 78 overall star development. I honestly think Kelly should play over Michael Wilson, even though I quite like Michael Wilson. He's just, he doesn't have superstar dev, and he's older. That's what it comes down to. O-line, for the most part, looks great. And then defensively, we are trying desperately to have Josh Sweat keep that 90 overall, but it's a tough task. I really like how Goodwell is going to develop. Picking up Derek Stingley, I think, is going to be absolutely massive for this team. And I'm expecting big things. McGowan, of course, can be a little bit buried on the depth chart, but that's all right. New playbooks, 2027. I think we can make quite the run. Got a really good team. Hopefully, we're going to find really, really good results. Well, it looks pretty similar to last year. We are 5-2. The offense and defense are really not performing all that well. It feels exactly like last year. We've lost our last 2 games going into the midseason mark. What will it take to take the next step up? Now, 5-2 isn't bad. It's just about where this could go, as we could very easily miss the playoffs. Brendan McCutcheon, really good backup offensive lineman, could eventually become a starter. I could see that, especially if that somehow ends up being star dev. And this is going to be the big free agent year. We have $108 million in 2028 cap room, but we have some big-time free agents. Really wanted to develop Max Melton a little bit more. Just didn't end up happening. And obviously now we have Derek Stingley, so he's definitely not going to play. But Cedric Gray is up to superstar dev. He is incredibly affordable. Incredibly. So we're going to try and extend him, and Cedric Gray is back. Paid him a little bit more money just because he wasn't super interested at first, but that's the right move. Trey Benson on a 4-year deal should just outright accept this, and he does. Paris Johnson Jr. does not necessarily want to be here. He's very expensive, but he's 26 years old. He is trending towards being an elite left tackle. The value is obviously incredible here. So I think just by extending the years and adding a little bit more to this, to where it's, something in the neighborhood of 27 per year, we should be able to bring him back, and we do. Budda Baker is like a 2-year contract, maybe. And it probably ends up being a franchise tag situation. He doesn't want that contract. He's not going to get what he wants. Max Melton, I think, would be good depth. For 5 years, I'll take the money down. And Max Melton is back. So good depth, good special teamer, potentially. And I'm kind of cool on everybody else for the moment. Maybe make some decisions in the offseason about some of those players. But for right now, I'm pretty happy with what we're looking at. Tackle is not really a need for us at all. And D-tackle isn't really, because we have a lot of depth and we do have good young talent there, but that's all right. We'll see if we can be a playoff team this time around. We did sneak into the playoffs, 9-8. Offense started to play a little bit better. Defense, not really so much. That's frustrating. Mike Judge really turning over the ball kind of a lot for someone who should have pretty good overall accuracy. 22 years old, superstar dev, 93 overall. Guess getting that deep throw accuracy up is going to be pretty important. And he's got the potential, obviously, to be one of the league's best, but has not exactly played up to that. But he's only 22 years old. This is not an awful season, but it's barely better than his rookie year, and it's way, way, way too many turnovers. Trey Benson was great. Mike Judge ran the ball fine by Madden Sim standards. Marvin Harrison Jr. with a true breakout year, close to 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns on 1,200 yards receiving for Logan Kelly. Trey McBride had a fine year. Can't really seem to get him going like, teams do, or the Cardinals do in real life. And 20 TFLs for Brett Goodwell. 10.5 sacks, ties Josh Sweat, who also had 15 TFLs. That's great. Walter Nolan was really, really good. And then interceptions, Stingley led the way with 2. And we have so much talent on defense. It's pretty incredible that our defense is just not playing all that well. 19th in the league in terms of yards allowed. I just don't get that. And I typically don't. We're a 92 overall with an elite defense, one of the best in the league. It's hard really to find any real flaws on this defense. The D-line, it looks really good. Maybe not absolutely elite, but quite solid. Cornerbacks, elite. Safeties, overall pretty good. And then the pass rush looks to be great. We just got to start playing better. See if we can beat the 49ers wild card round of the playoffs, NFC West matchup. And is our season over? Of course it is. That's how that goes. Oh, we're better in every way? Well, not today, I guess. I guess it's just got to be 3-4 Storm in Baltimore. That's what works. I think the Giants is probably pretty good too, funnily enough. I think the Raiders is probably pretty good. I've heard good things about that. Season recap, of course, has the Bucs winning the Super Bowl. Maybe their playbook is better than I thought. Joe Burrow, league MVP. Anything interesting here? Caleb Kinney wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. Talked about him a little bit. Just had a receiver, DeMario Bowens, who won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Don't really remember seeing him in the draft, but as we know, it doesn't actually really matter because you can be like a 70 overall receiver, and if you play in the slot in an offense where the slot is prioritized, you'll just be good. Now, Bowens is a pretty high overall. Physical, I was going to say physical style. That's his lowest thing, but it doesn't seem to be. High catching in traffic, high short route running. Got insane kick return. I can't find release only is 77, I guess. So yeah, okay, slot B, 6'3", 211. How high was this guy drafted? Second round. All right, well he was taken fairly high. It's not inconceivable, but you know my point. It's playbooks over everything, which man doesn't sound like fun. As the Bucs do win the Tom Brady Bowl, we're gonna pick up the 5th-year option on Walter Nolan. We have 110 million cap room. Who did what? Buddha just accepted that. I took it down a lot. I didn't think he was going to sign that. I was getting ready to franchise tag him, but okay. Taylor Demerson can walk. I don't really see the value in keeping Darius Robinson around at this current moment. Did we have any retirements? Like Jalen Ramsey and TJ Watt, I noticed. But on this particular team, maybe the cap penalties are not playing an impact anymore. Because I'm trying to see, did anyone notable retire? I can't think of anyone that was super old on our team. Other than maybe like Taylor Moton, I guess maybe could have retired. And that seems to be the one. He's gone, which means Brendan McCutcheon will start at right guard. He's got superstar dev. Well, there you go. All right, well, it's been decided. Brendan McCutcheon is an easy replacement and way cheaper. He was, what, like a 7th round pick that the CPU got? This might be like the best CPU draft pick ever. He's going to be better than Taylor Moton was. Yeah, that's a heck of a pickup. In free agency, Quinnen Williams, Cooper DeJean to play safety. Could be a decent idea. There are some okay players. I mean, DeJean is obviously like the one to get, but he doesn't really have a ton of interest in being here. What are his interests? Historic championships. Okay, yeah, I can see that's not a great fit. Do I really want to pay him 25 to 30 million a year when we just have probably a better option when you factor in the money in Kevin Winston, but you really have to factor in the money. Buda Baker's down to star dev, by the way. Derek Stingley's down to superstar dev. All right. Seems stupid. And anything else? Not that I'm noticing. I don't know where we would improve. I feel like the O-line is great. Could draft a guard potentially. Cedric Gray is actually a superstar X Factor. Do I just move him to Mike over Quay Walker? Just so it looks better? All right, maybe. We're going to offer on Quinnen Williams. It's a one-year deal. Close to 30 mil. He's going back to the Jets. I think that's fine. If I was going to get Quinnen Williams, I might as well offer Vita Vea. Even though the interest is not quite the same. It's just a one-year deal. He can be a mercenary, but he will be a Raider. So we know Isaac Phelps is a top 5 talent. 21 years old. Only solid speed, but he's a top 5 player. Could certainly consider another defensive back. We pick at number 19. It's not that far to go. So I could see that happening. And then outside of that, I mean, there was a storyline about a guard that was playing up, but I don't know where he is. I think the guard was Jabari Geddes, who kind of looks insane, to be honest. And I didn't see him in the first round of the mock. I mean, I'll take a second look here, but oh, he's at number 9. So he's pretty high up. All right, well, we'll see. We don't necessarily need guard. I mean, a replacement for Elton Jenkins down the line would be nice. And this would be cheap, I guess, but don't know that that's going to happen. And then Isaac Phelps, top 5 talent. I think the guard, with the draft story and looking as good as he does, is just probably a top 5 guy. So maybe we move Elton Jenkins and it helps us move up. And we replace him right now. I don't know. This is the way football was meant to be played. 2 edge rushers and 3 tackles to start the draft. I like it. There's a defensive tackle. Keep building the trenches. Finally, a quarterback goes off the board. And the Lions will take a receiver, Cameron Moore. And this is where I might consider the trade-up if I want the guard. Okay, Elton Jenkins and a first for number 9. And obviously now we absolutely need to draft the guard. And I think that's just going to be the right move. You can clearly see here. Jesus. Jabari Geddes seems to be the right call. 22 years old, 6'3", 310, A pass block, A run block, A awareness, elite strength, elite agility. That's a pretty good combination. I'm not going to say generational, but it looks good for Jabari Geddes, who also had a draft story about him trending up. He is the number 1 player in the draft. We take him at number 9. High IQ blocker, bully defensive lineman with his strength. Doesn't panic in pass protection. Hidden dev, 97 strength. 69 speed. Nice. And, as I said, maybe not generational, but absolutely elite. Number 1 player on the board. Could be the best player on our offensive line when all is said and done. Who knows? But I knew, we needed to go out and get a guard. We might have just got an 80-plus one to step in at left guard over Elton Jenkins. Denzel Blaylock's an interesting prospect. He's got all decent accuracy. Rocket arm. Was expected to go top 5 and is available in the 2nd round. Obviously, we don't need a quarterback. But it's an interesting option. We'll get a 2nd tight end. Max Street. Ranked number 89. We got him at 51. Former high school receiver. Hidden dev, good speed. 86 speed, 85 acceleration at 263 pounds. Only a 21-year-old tight end. If he's the number 89 ranked player in the draft, I feel pretty good about the other 88. He looked pretty good. Joel Brown has A tackle, A hit power, A block shed. Run support safety from Oklahoma. Looks like he could be good in the box. He's ranked number 70. We got him at 71. Big hits galore. He did have A hit power. Normal dev. Looks like he's going to be not an athlete, which, and we've seen that style of safety quite a bit with these auto-generated draft classes and their player generators to actually build what these players end up looking like. It's hard to get excited in Madden about a safety with 84 speed who's like really too light to be a linebacker, but that's what we got. Jabari Geddes is an 82 overall. He is just pretty well-rounded in general. Good athlete, really strong. He's already the number 13 ranked left guard in the league, and he is 22 years old. Street's okay, but not that high of an overall. Brown is actually a higher overall than he is. And then we just got, depth down the board. But I feel pretty good about getting the best player in the draft. There was another guard, Enrique Ruiz, out of Mizzou. But, yeah, we did as well as we possibly could have, I would say. So this will be the team. We didn't really need to go out and make many upgrades because the team was already in a pretty good spot. So I'm thinking that, we should be in pretty prime position to actually make a run this time around. I considered trading Jordan Birch to get McGowan some more reps, but we're just going to keep the rotation going. I feel pretty good about it, so that's how it's going to be. Michael Wilson in the slot. Maybe. We are 5-1 at the midseason mark. Very nice. And our offense and defense especially is actually good this year. Again, especially our defense. We are actually running for more yards than anybody else. 154 rushing yards per game. It's basically double the Broncos here, who are 23rd in the league, not even last. So we are significantly better, I would say, and our defense has been absolutely carrying. We're just not allowing points. Now, we can make our scouting national focus, but I feel like it's kind of been the same deal. The strengths of every class that we've seen so far have basically been defensive tackle, and that's kind of like the strengths of every single draft class in Madden 26, in my opinion, because you can find great defensive tackles down the board with the nose tackle archetype for nothing. Whether they're undrafted, I mean, even this guy, Jermaine Jones, is supposed to go undrafted. Got a lot of player notes, but he's got A finesse moves, C power moves, and is a great athlete. This type of player does not go undrafted. Now, you can make the argument that he's a little bit small, 6'3", 292. A lot of defensive tackles you want to see being 300 plus, and I get that. But as a rotational interior defensive lineman, this type of player goes way higher. Way higher. And there are just so many of them. And then the nose tackles just can do everything. But, yeah, I mean, the strengths of every class have been just front seven and quarterback, and we're fine there. Maybe we'll take a look at Kyle Lewis. Remember Kyle Lewis? He, I think, was Rookie of the Year for the Mariners during the COVID year and had, like, awful knees and never really was good again. Marvin Harrison Jr. coming up on an extension. He's not cheap. 97 overall. He wants like $36 million per year. I think we can afford that. 5-year extension. Marvin Harrison Jr. is back. I would also like to keep Will Johnson. Kevin Winston's developing. I mean, these guys are not even into their late 20s yet. Kind of early to mid-20s. Will Johnson's obviously 25. He's going to be like $17 million a year. Wants a 4-year deal. I'd give him a 5-year deal. Right now he's kind of like our third corner, but I could easily see him passing Garrett Williams with the age and development trait. So I definitely want to keep Will Johnson around, and we have the money. We're still paying a rookie quarterback. This can be our window. Now, in real life, obviously, you see teams get a little bit more conservative, as we'll look to bring back Kevin Winston for a little bit less, and he is back. You'll see teams get a little bit more conservative with how they spend their money in these spots because they know they're going to have to pay the quarterback. Like, if they have a good QB, they know they're going to have to pay him. I probably should trade Josh Sweat. I don't really want to because he's a good Cardinals player in real life, and it's a fun signing they made. He's only going to get worse. Guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed to get worse. Will not ever be better. Well, you know, if he's having a great year, maybe his dev trait could go up. He's got 7.5 sacks already. And maybe he could hold his overall, but probably not. And then Jordan Birch, I don't really think we should pay. We'll make a decision on that in the offseason. But we're 5-1. We're crushing it right now. And let's continue to do so. Okay, Earl Calhoun actually looks ridiculous. 6'5", 285 at defensive tackle. Kind of like your prototypical 3-tech or even 3-4 defensive end that can play the 5. He's got B block shed, A finesse moves, A power moves, A tackle, elite speed, elite agility, change of direction. He looks absolutely incredible and generational, maybe. He's going to be a top 5 player in the draft. It could be fun to try and get in position to draft him. That could be an idea. I shouldn't have, but I got a little bit scared for a second. I thought we missed the playoffs, but no, obviously we didn't. We just get the first round bye because we were so good this year. Mike Judge, 3,100 yards passing, 25 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. This, to me, is a much better year because he's not actively turning the ball over. I mean, look at the interceptions dropping from 13 or 15 to 4. Yeah, the touchdowns are down, but I think the attempts were also down significantly because we were in Baltimore playbook offensively. He probably has a lot of rushing yards, which is good. Picked up 580, 10 touchdowns. Trey Benson was also pretty good on the ground. We'll take that. 1,400 yards, 4.5 yards per carry, 10 touchdowns. 8 touchdowns for Kyle Thomas. Do we need to go out and get a better backup? If they're going to be playing this much, the answer is absolutely yes. 109 attempts is a lot here in Madden compared to Trey Benson, who did have a lot as well. No receiver really did anything too crazy. Marvin Harrison put up 48 catches for 631 yards and 5 touchdowns. We're like, how does 37 mil a year sound? God. Yeah, well, that's how it is sometimes. Defensively, what a year for Cedric Gray. This is Defensive Player of the Year. 124 tackles, 4 for loss, 4.5 sacks, and 7 interceptions. It's unbelievable. That's unbelievable from Cedric Gray. Goodness. 11 TFLs for Nolan, who had 7.5 sacks. 19.5 sacks for Josh Sweat. 10 for Brett Goodwell, 7.5 for Nolan, 6 for Quay Walker. I mean, our linebackers were getting after the quarterback. I cannot believe what Cedric Gray did. Surely he's got to be the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. Ooh, I'd like to see that. Defensive Player of the Year, Aiden Hutchinson. He better put up 25 sacks. That's what it's got to be. If he did not put up 25 sacks, he can't have got it over Cedric Gray. There's just no way. And he put up 19. 21 TFLs, I guess. 80 tackles, but that's stupid. We've got the divisional round of the playoffs against the LA Rams. We're up to a 95 overall. So obviously we've been developing our players about as well as you can, right? Geddes is a superstar dev player, playing up to a 90. McCutcheon and Green, all superstar dev players, all approaching that 90 overall plus. Now, Jabari Geddes supposedly is not a great pass protector. He's got 97 pass block, or at least it's playing up to that with morale. Pass block power is a bit low. And I don't really understand. If pass block finesse is a stat or an attribute, and pass block power is an attribute, one would be used against a finesse rusher, one would be used against a power rusher. What does the pass block stat do in that case? No idea. Defensively, don't see any new dev traits, of course. But it may be time for Will Johnson to step into that CB2 role. Maybe next season. But currently he's in the slot. Can we beat the Rams in simulation? One game away from the NFC Championship. We don't lose these surely. 24-23. We have managed to win. And maybe I should have jumped in. That's kind of a crazy game. Now, the Vikings went 13-4 with an 84 overall team. What playbooks are the Vikings running? Because that's insane. Tennessee. Tennessee is so good in this game, to be fair. Like, their defense is incredible. They're always insane. Now, they were 11th in points per game. Their defense was not good. And they won 13 games. Honestly, seems like the Vikings. Getting lucky in one-score games, maybe, I don't know. And we'll see if we can beat the Vikings. That's a good start, driving down the field, stopping them and getting only 3, I guess, and it's tied. Vikings were on the verge of taking the lead, but nobody can score. It's 6-3. Vikings take the lead. 10-6. And we need to drive. Mike Judge in the game. He's got a ton of speed. We have receiving threats. We're going to be okay. Good ball. Good catch. Mike Judge just over 100 yards in that completion. Want to use that scrambling ability. And we're going to get sacked. Honestly, in these spots, as there's another Geddes. Looks like our left guard. In these spots, we just need to get rid of the ball instantly. You can't get sacked. Taking off with Mike Judge. Broken tackle. Just don't fumble, please. You got 5 for 38. And this will be the final play before the 2-minute warning, I would think, unless this is incomplete. But we want to take time off the clock. Can I get Trey Benson on some type of, flat table? That'll work. He is open. We're actually going to throw a crossbody late. And we're going to make the catch. It's Kelly. Superstar dev, 90 overall receiver with absolutely incredible speed. It's like I just remembered he has 99 speed. That's probably where the ball needs to go. Now, we want to start killing some of these Minnesota timeouts. They're going to have to start calling more. And I don't think they're going to unless we get into like a 2nd and goal, maybe. 3rd and goal. We're trying to take all the time off the clock. Trey Benson to the outside. We don't want to score just yet. I know that seems crazy. We're going to take more time off the clock. Now, how do you not get into the end zone when you have the opportunity? I get that, but we're going to be okay. Minnesota has all their timeouts. I just don't want to let them easily get back in this game. As Trey McBride will maybe lose us a yard. Here's 2nd and goal from the 7. We just know the ball needs to come out quickly. It's exactly what happens, but it is dropped. And it's 3rd and goal. Now things are a little bit scary. Great route. Touchdown! What a route from Michael Wilson. Destroying the ankles. And I think I did consider for half a second going for 2. Just so that they need a touchdown and can't tie it in regulation. There are 18 seconds left. Ooh, that's so slow with our superstar kicker. There are 18 seconds left. I know they have 3 timeouts. If they get in a field goal range to tie it, congratulations to them. They deserve the win. We didn't play that maybe as smart as we could have. I think Trey Benson probably just needed to score. But I did not want to risk the Vikings driving down the field and, tying this game easily. So we gambled. This time it worked out. I understand it doesn't always. 14 seconds to go. Keep them in front. That is absolutely perfect. 10 seconds. J.J. McCarthy trying to will his team down the field. Let's get Cedric Ray right up the seam there. Check down. Tackle is made. 6 seconds. Now, they've made it to the 46-yard line. They are absolutely approaching field goal range, and we are not really trying to rush the passer very much. I'd love for this play to last 6 seconds. And it's going to. Oh, it's going to last 5 seconds. McCarthy gets the throwaway. He was under pressure. But yeah, there's absolutely nobody in the area at all. We'll have one shot to the end zone. In real life, I actually don't like prevent defense, but we're running prevent. 1 second on the clock. Everybody back. And we're going to blitz with Cedric Ray. One-on-one against the linebacker. Pressure gets there. McCarthy smacked, and they can't even get a throw near the end zone. And they didn't really even have a receiver near the end zone. I'm curious what the play call was. Now, did they work back to the ball? I ended up watching the defensive line, trying to rush with Cedric Ray. But I don't even know that there was any scenario where they could have won the game there. There was 1 second. You obviously cannot go to the sideline there. There is no time for anything. It needs to be a shot to the end zone. I want to know what they actually ran. I'm assuming it was like shot clock or Hail Mary, shot clock, save clock. They have one receiver that was headed to the end zone. Jefferson and Addison are running just deep corner routes. There was a 0% chance there was going to be a touchdown. 0%. Unless, like, some Minneapolis Miracle stuff going on and the Vikings are on, again, the right end of it. But, I mean, there's no way. The CPU in gotta-have-it situations, driving down the field, final drive of the game, unbelievably, unimaginably stupid. There was never a chance, and that happens all the time. Bills, Cardinals, a couple of teams here without a storied history of Super Bowl success. They're an 89 overall, though. That's pretty good. They've got Josh Allen. He's obviously going to be pretty tough to stop as we see the upgraded or downgraded dev traits. Not really a surprise to see Marvin Harrison Jr. go down to superstar. They need to do this the first week of the offseason. If you play an entire year with Marvin Harrison Jr. as an X Factor, and then, hey, it's the most important game of the season, he lost his X Factor, I think that's stupid, personally. But whatever. Burris here is developing pretty nicely. Wish he could rush the passer at all, but it's not really in his bag of tricks. And then Derek Stingley Jr. is down to star dev. Why? Because he's not getting a ton of interceptions? What is he supposed to do about that? He got 7, I guess, in Texans playbook in 2026. But what else can we do? We have a great defense, but everything in Madden is so ungodly playbook dependent that 99 man, 99 zone, 99 play rec, 98 press, 99 awareness, all this stuff playing up is capable of 1 interception and getting downgraded in dev trait. Now, interceptions are not necessarily a good measuring stick for who a good cornerback is. A lot of the top corners don't get thrown at. Kind of tough to get interceptions when you're just locking down one side of the field. Interceptions are a bad metric to decide who's a good corner. It really, really is. But in Madden, if the playbook is not one that lets you get a lot of interceptions, he's not going to get interceptions. And then you're going to base his dev trait or his X factor off of interceptions. It's just so dumb, man. It's so dumb. Anyway, Keon Coleman back to return. He did do that at Florida State, so not exactly that weird, but I like that we get to kick off first, get the ball to start the second half, and we might need it. We're already down 14. Driving down the field, we get 3, but we're down 21-3. 21-10 now. I mean, we might need to jump in at some point because we are getting waxed currently. It's 28-10. Dude, what is going on? I don't know that this team simulates that great. I didn't mean to do that. Thank you, Trey McBride, for saving a pick. I wanted the crosser. I hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong button more than anybody else. It's unbelievable. We need to use that speed down the field. Get us a block, please. We're not going to get there. How do we not get there? Obviously got to go for it here. Down a billion. Third quarter coming to an end. That really hung up. I mean, that's insane how much that hung up. Mike Judge has 41 yards passing. Is revamp passing the worst of all time? I kind of like it in college football. I think it's a fun one to use. But in Madden, it's so awful. I know you guys have been telling me to change forever. But I thought this one you get to focus more on the player's attributes and not, you know, my own ability to time something up. Deep shot. Kelly. He's got 99 speed, but that's a tough guy to throw over. That's Maxwell Harrison. He can absolutely fly. And now all of my backup receivers are in. They're absolutely gassed. This is insane, dude. There's no way we win this game. 4th and goal. We tried to run it and got stuffed. And it happened again. All right. Well, it might not end up being the worst thing for us if we can get a safety here. But the odds of us winning this game, basically none. Basically 0. Oh, they're going to throw. Good game. Bills get their Super Bowl win. Noah Fant, 99-yard touchdown. Unless Derek Stingley can save it. He can't. Good game. We're going to run it back. Didn't really ever seem to have a chance in this one. 42-13 is your final. We're going to watch the confetti rain down. Baltimore offensive playbook is just not the one here for me. Josh Allen threw for 4 touchdowns, 334 yards. Man, all right. We did have the best defense. 16 fumble recoveries? What? Offense needs to change, though. We need more points. I mean, the Giants are doing great. I might try the Chargers. Looks like they had the best offense by a mile. 2028 season recap. Jackson Dart MVP as we saw the Super Bowl. Don't really want to talk about that very much. Defense stays the same. Offense, we're going to try the Chargers. I kind of feel like it's... What are we doing, Cam? All right, I don't want to see that. I don't know that the Chargers will be great. We'll pick up the 5th here on Mike Judge and Jermaine Green. But we're going to try it out. Got to change something up a little bit. Sweat's down to an 89. He wants $30 million for a year. I will tag him if he declines. He had a great season. He nearly retained his overall. And we will franchise tag him. And then I think Jordan Birch just walks, right? We have McGowan that can play. It's not like Jordan Birch has been so good that it's like, oh, we can't lose Jordan Birch. He's an 83 overall nose tackle that can't rush the passer. Even though in real life, he definitely can rush the passer, I would say. All right. Nick Bosa's here. Devontae Smith. Cam Scattaboo, obviously. And he wants to return to Arizona. That makes sense. And we need a second running back. Even though the playbook has changed now. You know what? We might try it anyway. We have the money. Cam Scattaboo can return home. Even though he's from California. But he transferred to Arizona State. And I even heard on stream he was like, if I could live anywhere, it'd be Arizona. Or like when he retires or whatever. So maybe he's a future Cardinal. I would like him to stay a Giant based on what we've seen. But already 27 years old here. Just for a few years in the future. But we're going to up our offer on Cam Scattaboo. I would like to be able to do a stream or a video with him sometime in the near future. It's in the works, but obviously as a busy guy, I can't just make it happen. Brian Burns is in here too. So sad. So all I can say is we'll wait and see, right? I can't guarantee it. I'd like it to happen. He seems like he wants to make it happen, but bottom line is it hasn't happened yet. I don't know if it will. People have asked, so this is a good time to answer, I guess. It's crazy. We really don't need anything. Everything's great. That's what it is. Everything's great. Could bring Jalen Thompson back to be a backup. We have the money. I don't think he's going to be a super highly sought-after player. So, could be a good backup. Dadrian Taylor Demerson's here. Could try to bring him back as well. No one's really offering him right now. Maybe Dre Greenlaw for a year. That could be cool. Again, no one's really offering him. I think we're good to go. We are targeting a couple of former Cardinals, Dre Greenlaw and Cam Skattebo. And we got everybody but Skattebo, who has picked the Jaguars. 3 years, $10.4 million on the salary, $16.5 million on the bonus. That is unfortunate. Now the Commanders are just getting everybody. I've offered Devontae Smith a contract because nobody else has. And he's going to end up being a Steeler, and that's fine. We didn't really have a ton of cap room. Maybe we could have made it work. We didn't really need him, so I'm not really too pressed about it. We're going to simulate to the draft. I think we might make a move up for that defensive tackle. I think that's a possibility. We have a player we could trade to make it happen if we think it's a big enough upgrade. So let's see. Earl Calhoun is a guaranteed top 5 talent. That is not a surprise. He has elite speed. He ran a 4.52 at his pro at 285 pounds. Now, I don't know if his speed's going to end up reflecting that, but this is a phenomenal player. And in my opinion, absolutely looks generational. We're going to be picking at, what, 31? It's going to be tough to get to 1. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm doing it. Says we need a strong safety. Tell me Budda Baker did not retire. He's on the verge, I guess. It's going to take some doing. Because 3 first-round picks and Trevor McGowan is not enough to make it happen. So, it's going to take a lot to figure this out. But I'm going to figure it out. This is the finishing piece, I'm telling you. McGowan's on the move, expiring contract. Max Street, who we just drafted, the star tight end, only 22 years old, is obviously behind Trey McBride. Gone. 3 first-round picks and a third gets us number 2. That is still not good enough. But trading from 2 to 1, I don't think will be that difficult. Maybe more difficult than I'm expecting. But we should be able to make it happen. Yeah, I've moved a lot in order to get in position here, but I think we're going to be able to get number 1. And I think this is going to be I don't want to say a franchise-changing player. We were just in the Super Bowl, but this is the final piece. This is the final guy we need to make everything click together. And we honestly could even trade Jonathan Burris. We're definitely Ramon Jaramillo. And you can just draft a good defensive tackle down the board. It's not hard. We still cannot make it happen. We need like an early second or something like that. And we could get it. It's absolutely possible. Like, trade Joel Brown, maybe, and Jaramillo. And we might be able to just get a second-round pick, and that might be enough to make something happen. But maybe a pick. Maybe we can get a first. I know this is where crazy land comes into play, comes into effect. I don't exactly know what that means, but we're getting a little bit wild now. But we're going to have fun here as we get into what probably will be the final year. Okay, this trade is going to be accepted. Quay Walker, Ramon Jaramillo. A second this year, next year and the year after that, a third in 2031 and a fourth in 2031. That gets us to 18. Quay Walker is good. He plays Sam linebacker. We can just move Drake Greenlaw over there to cover that gap, or maybe just find one in free agency for nothing. Not going to be quite as good, but, and keep in mind, I'm doing all this to trade up for what is likely to be an 80-ish overall defensive tackle. And when I had that, here's the difference. Here's the difference. I'm glad you asked. This one can rush the passer. We don't really have that outside of maybe Walter Nolan. Tell me this is good enough. Okay. There it is. 2 and 18 gets us 1. I'm in. Earl Calhoun, we gave up everything to get you. You need to be amazing. And he's going to be. I believe it. He is the #1 player in the draft. He's got the plug and play in the scouting report. That basically means generational. Powerful frame. Hand-fighting prowess allows him to shed blocks easily. He's got hidden depth. He's got 86 speed, 88 strength, 83 acceleration. He's going to be absolutely incredible. Was it worth it to give up everything for him? Maybe it was. Maybe it was. We have the true talent on every one of these D tackles. There is a round 1 D tackle down the board, a nose tackle. I'm so surprised. Carl Blythe. Also a round 1 to 2 guy in Rashard Hatcher, a nose tackle. What? That's crazy. The speed rusher we talked about, I can't even remember who it was. I think he was supposed to go undrafted, but actually looked pretty good. Well, he clearly is not that good. Was it Jermaine Jones? Maybe it was. Yeah, I think it was Jermaine Jones. He's around 2 to 3 talent. That's pretty good value. But here's what I'm going to do with this second round pick. I'm either going to draft Joel Webster, who's great in coverage with great speed, or I am going to trade for the Quay Walker replacement. Those are the options. If we can get a good linebacker with this pick, we'll make it happen. I don't know why it says we need corner. We don't. We absolutely do not need corner. I mean, we're like kind of close to getting Karsten Preston, who has 1 year remaining on his deal. I think I'll just see if this linebacker's any good. I'm worried about D-block shedding, and the tackling doesn't look that good. But he's a really good athlete, and he can cover. So there is something here. He's ranked number 82. We got him at 62. Does have hidden dev, 91 speed, 90 acceleration. Like, you'd be stoked about this if you were actually playing the games, and a hit power. But he's clearly going to be a bit of a work in progress, which is fine. But maybe we should have just tried to trade more. The thing is, we're kind of out of things to trade. I do have some picks, but I don't feel good about trading literally the entire class. So I'm just not going to do that. And we'll take the round 1 defensive tackle, Carl Blythe, here. With this selection, I think it makes total sense. He's ranked number 20. We got him at 127. Just take good players. He might end up having superstar dev. We could just do the thing where we continue to draft defensive tackles because they're the highest overall players we know about. I don't know if that's the best idea, but it's an idea. Yeah, give me Rashard Hatcher. It's a straight D tackle draft. This is our 3rd one we've drafted. Got him at number 159. He's ranked number 35. Also hidden dev. Looks exactly like the guy we just drafted. This is what it's all about here. I love Madden. Okay, let's take a look. How good is he? Okay, he's actually unbelievable. Webster's a 71, 76 for Carl Blythe, 75 for Rashard Hatcher. Earl Calhoun is certainly generational. He is an 85 overall right now. That's a pretty good start. 83 power moves, 88 finesse moves, 86 pursuit. We basically just drafted a tall Aaron Donald. Who's a UCLA defensive tackle that would be based off of? Because that's sometimes how they do that. Like Kenny Clark is a UCLA defensive tackle, I guess. But he doesn't, like Kenny Clark, you would not categorize as a generational pass rusher or player in general. I don't know. Yeah, they don't have one. So maybe this is just a scenario where this is a unique generational player. That's super fun. He is going to be insane, and he's already really good. I know we traded a lot to make that happen. I'd still do it. It's fun drafting generational players. And we so easily built up the rest of our defensive line. It's so good. A little bit disappointed about where Webster is. Calhoun being 83 overall edge rusher. That's so crazy. Just for, you know, a 285-pound player here. I mean, that's not that weird for an edge. Kind of thought it was linebacker at first when I went back. But he'd probably be a decent linebacker. Do we miss out on anybody really good? I mean, this was a good draft class. Floyd Smiley is an 82 overall possession, or I guess he's a vertical threat tight end. He's not that fast, but he's not slow. He just has really good hands. So, it's an interesting pickup. And then Colin Matthews, speed rusher out of Georgia, 81 overall, normal dev, but looks insane. 86 speed, 91 acceleration, 90 finesse moves. That's about as high as I've ever seen that. 90 finesse moves right out of the draft is absurd. That's a pretty good draft class. And Kai Savage, who I looked at, I didn't see he was a top 5 guy. Maybe I would have changed what I did in the draft, but probably not. Normal dev, but can fly. So we've handled training camp, and this is the team. The offense is largely unchanged. However, Earl Calhoun has superstar X Factor. How is that even possible? Yeah, he's up to an 88 overall already. And when you start at 85, it's not that weird. He's going to be probably a 95 overall as a rookie. I mean, you've seen the team. Chargers playbook scares me a bit. Wow, Nick Bosa to the Steelers. About time they get a good edge rusher. Oh, no. Alex Highsmith and Herbig. So, well, they might actually be set. 20-17. We barely beat them. Offense is up to a 99 overall. This is the year. We are 7-0. Allowing less than 14 points a game and scoring basically 28 points per game. We're doubling our opponent's score per game on average. That's pretty elite. We're up to a 96 overall. And, I mean, I guess Chargers offense is good enough. I'll tell you that. Chargers offense is definitely doing pretty well. Goodwill's up to a 93, about to be a 94. Earl Calhoun is a 90 overall. Midway through his rookie season. Absolutely incredible at everything. This is the dream team. We went 16-1. We are scoring so many points. Where's our points per game? 30 points per game, and we allowed less than 14 still. Now, you could say maybe we found the right playbook combination, but also it helps with insane overalls. Our team's just so good. Mike Judge had his best season by a mile. Trey Benson was elite. No touchdowns for Mike Judge. Kind of sucks. And we needed a better backup running back, but he was fine. Marvin Harrison Jr. working his way back up to X Factor, close to 1,500 yards receiving, 11 touchdowns, 9 TDs for Logan Kelly, 10 touchdowns for Trey McBride. Is Chargers playbook the one? Defensively, we had 2 20-sack players. 10 TFLs for Nolan, 8 for Sweat, 7 for Goodwill. Sweat and Goodwill both put up 20 sacks. 11.5 for Walter Nolan. Earl Calhoun only with 2? How is this possible? He had 2? How did he only have 2? Derek Stingley's back to a couple interceptions a year. I guess had a few this time around. Dre Greenlaw even had 1. Depth can be important. Even in Madden Sim, where there's not a whole lot of depth that actually gets on the field. Sometimes it does matter a little bit. What a year. And I imagine we're going to lose to the Lions here. That's just how that goes. But to advance to the NFC Championship, it goes through Glendale. Lions coming to town, and they're going to lose. Saints went 11-6. They might be officially back. Lions and Saints. You know the first player that's played for both of those teams that jumps into my mind is? Not Jamal Williams, actually, but Larry Warford. Alex Anzalone is another one. Larry Warford lives rent-free in my head. Played guard. I don't know. Here we go. We have such an overall advantage. Will it matter? Currently not. 7-7. Take the lead 14-7. 21-7. This one might be over. And it is 24-7. We get the win. Who's a Cardinals Saint? kind of thought Drew Stanton at first. But I don't know. He might have been a Lion Cardinal. Who is a Saint Cardinal? Who would be my go-to Saint Cardinal? 47 yards passing we allowed. I honestly don't even know. If I thought about it for maybe more than a second. Tim Hightower. That's an interesting choice. But I think Tim Hightower is the first Saint Cardinal that I can think of. That's such a weird one. Kind of funny to not remember Adrian Peterson, who's my favorite player of all time, despite going to Oklahoma. Tyrann Mathieu as well. I don't really think of Adrian Peterson very often for, like, who played on which team, just because he's such an obvious answer on Immaculate Grid. I gotta do another Immaculate Grid video. I tried to do playing every Immaculate Grid in one video. I think I made it through like 20, and there's like a year ago, and I'm like, man, this video is like 5 hours long. So, gotta figure out something to do. That's for sure. Well, let's go ahead and jump into it here. I feel like there are a lot of cards, Jags examples, as got Marvin Harrison Jr., Mike Judge at X Factor, Trey Benson up to Superstar, Goodwill's playing up to a 97, Calhoun is at a 92. I kind of thought it would be a bit higher, but honestly, he just didn't really do a whole lot this year. I think, you know, Walter Nolan was in that rush DT1 role, and that's just probably in this playbook who's capable of getting sacks. But yeah, Jags Cardinals, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell was the first one to pop into my mind. I mean, I'm sure there are certainly more examples. Did Darnell Dockett get to the Jags at the end of his career? I don't think so. Anyway, we're up 7-0. I'm sure you guys will tell me more in the comment section. Well, I ripped off 3, and we're not thinking about it too deeply. We're up 7-3. 7-6 now. The Jags are firing back in this. It's 10-6. We need to take time off the clock. 2:27 to play. It's 1st and 5 after a penalty. Let's just finish it off. Trey Benson, nice little move. He's going to get real close, and he will get the first down. Jags going to be forced to use a timeout here. Trying to keep as much time left on the clock as possible. They can stop it twice with one more timeout and the 2-minute warning. So what we can actually do is only officially run this clock down to about 1 minute and 20 seconds guaranteed. And that may not be enough. We need a first down. We're going to get one. There goes Trey Benson. They should want him to score. But we won't. Jags call their final timeout. That's the game. And that's the Super Bowl. Trey Benson with a monster run to cap it off. That's the final clock stoppage. It's not a timeout, obviously, but that's the final time they can actually stop the clock. So this thing is over. A very boring Super Bowl here, very defensive matchup. But 10-6 is your final. The Jaguars can do absolutely nothing here but wait and watch, and I guess we're going to run it. That's fun. It takes a couple seconds off the clock. Like, I don't know why we're doing that, because the game's over. But one final kneel down, and the Arizona Cardinals are Super Bowl champions. See that clock hit triple zeros. We have done it. We have won it all. Excited about this result, obviously. Victory formation is kind of always the way you want to finish these games. No stress, even though it was 10-6. Trevor Lawrence just couldn't get it done. Can I get one more Jag Cardinal at the buzzer? I really don't think so. I think there's like did Darius Williams get to the Cardinals? I don't know. Again, you guys will tell me down in the comment section below. Tell me your favorite Jag Cardinal that I didn't name. That will do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.